Welcome to Coffee with Paul, where your city manager talks about topics that are important to you.
Alrighty. Well, welcome to another Coffee with Paul. It's been a while since we've done one of these, and I think with the new year, it's time that we focus on what we accomplished last year, but also what we have in store for the next upcoming year. Now, for those that don't know, really we operate based on the direction from the City Council. Our City Council put together a 5-year strategic plan that gives us a roadmap to achieve their dreams for this community. And within that strategic plan, we have 5 core areas the Council has laid out, many projects and goals for us to achieve within our organization. We're going to go over those various segments over the next few weeks with our Coffee with Paul to talk about the things that we've accomplished, but also you can see what's going to be happening here in the next few years from our organization. A lot of great things. So the first segment that we're going to start with is called Fiscal Responsibility. Now there are 5 areas, so that's the first one. The other 4 areas include safe, inclusive, and connected community, service and innovation of excellence, sustainability, and economic growth. Now each one of those areas have specific goals tied to them, either for our organization operations or working with our community partners. Once again, all those efforts to achieve the dreams of our City Council. So the first area that we're going to talk about is fiscal responsibility. Within this area, City Council outlined a lot of different items for us to ensure that we're judicious with the taxpayer dollars, but more importantly, that we're investing those funds into the organization, the operations, and outside agencies to achieve the dreams of this community. The first area that they identified was social service agency analysis, recommendation, and then utilization of United Way for outside agency funding. Last year in 2021, the City Council committed $1.4 million to outside agencies. That's our non-for-profits as well as economic development agencies. This last year for 2022, they committed roughly $2.6 million for outside agencies, including outside agency projects. So it's imperative that they utilize those funds appropriately. This past 2 years ago, City Council contracted with United Way for those outside agencies to assure that there's a rubric and understanding analysis put in place to use those dollars judiciously. So that's the first item, and that's where we're progressing that project. Once again, anyone who's interested in these items could go to our website, the City Council webpage, and look at what has been accomplished in 2021 and what we hope to accomplish in 2022. The next item is assuring that we're evaluating all city staff positions. We are a very lean organization. In fact, we just recently completed an analysis that showed, compared to other peer cities in South Dakota and college towns, we have roughly half the workforce as other municipalities. But you wouldn't know that coming to our community because it's so clean, it's beautiful, the quality of life is exceptional, and that's thanks to the hard work of our employees. So therefore, every time we have a position open, we evaluate that position to determine whether or not it's still warranted, if it's needed within that position, or if it needs to evolve to accomplish the goals that we have set before us. So that's one goal that we have anytime we have a position come open. The next item is assuring that we're putting money aside for the maintenance of our facilities. Last year, City Council put aside $1.2 million for our facilities. This year, it's about $1.2 million. And this is to invest into the facilities that we have currently in place. City Council also put within our 10-year capital improvement plan monies for the foreseeable future for the maintenance of all of our facilities. Once again, making sure that we're taking care of those investments of the taxpayers. Upgrading the library's HVAC system as well as exterior doors was part of that maintenance process. We also have in place the analysis to determine whether or not we can implement a 10-year operating plan. Prior to about 3 or 4 years ago, we had a 5-year capital improvement plan. The capital improvement is for all those things, brick and mortar, streets, buildings, things of that nature. We only had a 5-year plan. And realistically, we needed a 10-year plan matching the revenues coming into place to make sure it's sustainable. We now have that 10-year plan in place for capital improvements. Now it's imperative we do the same thing with our operations. Every municipality, for the most part, budgets 1 year in advance. Because we're so prudent with the way in which we budget, we're looking to budget 10 years in advance so we can understand if and where and when we can add employees for our operational needs, more programming that this community desires, but also evolving our existing programs. So that 10-year operational plan will hopefully be completed here in the next few months that we can implement it as part of the budget process. Once again, just giving us another tool to make sure that we have a viable future for the foreseeable future here in Brookings. We do have a financial reserve policy analysis that we're looking at as well, identifying all the reserves that we have in place. Our City Council knows at any point in time how much money they have accessible at their fingertips for projects, for operations, as well as needs of this community. It's critical that every year and every council takes a look at those policies, all policies, to ensure that it meets the existing council's desires. And then finally, we did receive an award for our budget and our audit this last year. We usually receive this award, but not every community receives it across the nation, just those that do outstanding work in assuring good, prudent budgeting. So once again, this is just a quick brief outline of the goals and objectives of the financial portion of the City Council's strategic plan. I encourage people to go out there and review it more in depth. Just a few other things I'd like to note. It's important to note that this city of Brookings is very financially viable. We rely heavily on sales tax. Just this last year, we ended the year with right around a 10% increase. We rely very minimally on property taxes. It's not like most communities. Most communities, it encompasses a majority of the revenue for the general fund. Not the case here. In fact, if you look at the breakdown, we receive about 15 to 16% of your property taxes. The majority of it will go to your county, to the schools. That's because we're diversified. Finally, we also provide a balanced budget every year for our City Council. The City Council looks to ensure the revenues coming in matches expenditures going out. But because of that prudent budgeting, we always end expenditures less than necessary and revenues come in higher than expected. That usually will give Council some one-time money to reinvest into projects that maybe we couldn't accomplish earlier. So once again, there's a number of things that our City Council does to ensure that we're in a viable position for the foreseeable future. Those type of efforts have given us such great things like a wonderful credit rating as a AA3 bond rating. Not every municipality has that great bond rating. We do because of those policies, those reserves, and that practice. So once again, thank you for watching this episode of Coffee with Paul. I encourage you to go on the website. Once again, cityofbrookings-sd.gov. Check out our website and the City Council strategic plan, and you'll find all the things we accomplished last year. But if you don't want to read it, stay tuned. We'll go over the other segments in the next Coffee with Paul.